Welcome back to the Helmet Oddities episode 6. In this series, we talk about all the weird things that happened to the football helmets during this week of football. Make sure to take a look at last week's episode where we had an extra big mega episode because of the hurricane. It was a nightmare. Thank you for sticking around and watching these videos. If you like football helmets or any of the equipment, this show is for you. So the first oddity we should mention is one that a commenter mentioned, which is George Kittle's switch to the Axiom. He's been wearing this for the whole season, and it looks like a lot of players have swapped back and forth to test out what fits best. It looks like Kittle is going to stick with this one though. He did have the Vicis trench with that add-on, kind of has like a bulbous look to it. I'm wondering if he just didn't like the way it looked. He just likes the Axiom better, and I'm curious to see why he decided to switch, but the Axiom looks good on him as well. The next oddity is really a two-in-one. Both Oregon and the University of Virginia wear special decals to honor students who have been lost. Oregon wears two flying duck decals to honor both Spencer Webb and Kyrie Jackson, who is also being remembered by the Minnesota Vikings. We discussed that in a couple of episodes a while back in episode number 2. So if you want to check out that, go back. Don't be shy. These decals have been worn for all the games of this season and will surely make their way to the end of the year. But with this week taking down number 2 Ohio at home, it just felt a little bit more sweet, right? Virginia also is still wearing the numbers 1, 15, and 41 to honor football players Devin Chandler, Lavelle Davis Jr., and Deshaun Perry, who were all shot and killed in November of 2022. They've worn these stickers since the tragic loss they suffered. This year, UVA announced the 1-15-41 Memorial Scholarship Fund that will honor these players and will remain a powerful reminder. Football is more than a game. It's a strong bond between fans and players alike. Sometimes we like to remember these moments and show our gratitude for how teams memorialize lost players. All right, this next one, this certainly is a detailed little thing that is odd. So Spencer Rattler and Lamar Jackson both had this happen, and I'm going to use a helmet here as my prop. If you look in these vent holes, you'll see really nothing but black. And on the inside, these things, they're not toys. This is intended for grown men to collide into each other. So when you see things like the left side of Lamar's helmet with tape in there, similar to, well, this exact stuff, you might be saying to yourself like, really? Are these guys just taping their padding in? No, they're not, and neither should you. That tape also coincides with whoever has a green dot. It's more likely than not that that orange tape is being put inside to route their communication wires from coming undone and rattling around. So if you see a green dot, pay attention, pause your screen, zoom in, and look in there and see if you see that orange or yellow gaffer's tape. That's what that's all about. Bijan Robinson. Next, let's go. A fresh change from this week is Bijan Robinson, who decided to change his helmet to the Riddell Speed Flex instead of the Schutt F7. There's always been some debate over which looks better or faster. Which do you think looks better for Bijan and his role as a running back? Personally, I think they both look good, but curious if he makes the switch again. Before we get to number 1, please just take a second to like and subscribe and hit notification bells because it really does help us out, and this series is doing well. So apparently you guys are just as much into this stuff as we are, so thank you very much for sticking around. One of the biggest changes or oddities in the NFL was from last week's game. Actually, you probably noticed Odell Beckham Jr.'s face mask changed. So he used to have a very specific mask, actually affectionately called the OBJ mask. But now he's wearing an S2EG SWHS4, which also means just an ordinary face mask. And part of that makes me wonder, Is it because so many other players are switching to the angles and the chevrons that he's like, bro, like that was mine. So now he's over it and just wants to go into something like this. So we work with the Dolphins in multiple ways. We actually reached out to the Dolphins to say, what exactly is going on here? Now, after speaking with some of their staff, we really don't have a clear answer other than he just came and said that he wanted to swap. There was no question. And I think when you're at that equipment level, you don't really ask the player, you just do what the guy wants. So hopefully one day I'll have a better update for you on that. I do find it interesting that he's wearing eye guards, right? It's kind of just, I don't know. The whole thing is just interesting, but I bet you a big chunk of you out there noticed the OBJ swap. So I'm curious. One more thing with OBJ, it's also kind of just odd that he's wearing a helmet that's 20 plus years old. Like, that's interesting. You would think he's a flashy guy, so he would want something with like that Xenith look or the Axiom, some sort of, but no, he's just sticking with the Riddell speed. It's interesting. Anyway, if you like this stuff, please don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps us out. There's only so much football we can watch, so I know we missed some other odd things. We really do want to hear from you. Content is awesome. We know you love it. Thanks for sticking around. Till next time. Cheers.